Hey there, everyone. I'm Chris McLean speaking, and as of what happened, well, just about to find out that last time on Total Drama World Tour is that we were in Rome, Italy, and it was an amazing run race that we had a great time. And for once, I had to say that, well, why not? Give them something better to do. And yet, who won? It was known to be Sally, and won first, and then picked Courtney while they were pretty much watching the Italian movies, which was interesting. But in fact, I don't even know why Sally even picked Courtney, but whatevs. But no, never mind. But continue on with the story is that Anne was safe, and for the others were safe, but as in for Sierra was out of the game, which was like okay then, as we are down with the final 10, and here we go, and it's now time to start it here in this very second on Total Drama World Tour Simulator. And just as in for the fact that I hopefully would say who is going to win, fortunately, and who is going to take the next victory. And looks like, on the other hand, or perhaps, is that we're going to find out and see who makes it this far at this end of this very season. So, like I said, I am Chris McLean, and hopefully we're going to see and find out furthermore and tell who's going to win the big $1 million for the big finals to commence. But the only true question is, who do you guys think? Who will make it to the $1 million? As we are about to proceed, who else makes it to the win at this very streak? Isn't that right, Chef?
Yeah, all right then. Yeah, totally. Totally to see who wins the next $1 million. And I'm pretty much excited as myself to see who also wins the money. Which, unfortunately, I wouldn't care, but at least for me, I'm gonna love seeing who wins the next part of this episode.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. I mean, absolutely, Chef, which I mean, Chef, by the way.
Oh, you're good, you're good.
All right, well, anyways, Chef, thanks for your cooperation on that.
No problem then, no problem.
So, anyways, like I said, who will win and who will become down to the final 9? Right here and now of Total Drama World Tour Simulator. Alrighty then, let's begin the show. Let's begin.
All right then. If you need me for something, then I'll be around, I guess. And
Okay then, Chef, come back when you take the wheel of the plane when you get back here.
sure thing, man.
Meanwhile, the chef goes to the private space around in the plane.
All right, I'm gonna have to call Chris's producers. All right, let me just dial their number. All right, there we go. The phone's about to ring.
Hello, who is this on the phone that we're speaking to?
It's me, Chef Hadget. Speaking is that is with Chris.
Well, what is it that you need?
Hmm. I was thinking that since that our third season is almost over, nearly to be in the finals right now, is that me and Chris were thinking about making a season 4 soon. And I was wondering how that will work out. And we won't tell it to the others that are from the plane or not, that were pretty much basically from the plane.
Tell you what, is that we will be thinking about that, and once we will make that choice made up and final, then you got Chris and yourself a deal to make that happen, and soon enough for your guys' fourth season to start. And as you did said, that it's nearly almost the end, right?
Yes, it is almost over.
Okay, Chef. And thanks for the call and making the deal happen. And we will inform him soon. When we will talk with him at whatever time is just right to call him.
That's a great idea. And thanks, guys. And it will be on the count to start the next season of number 4.
You're welcome.
Over and out. All right then. Guess looks like that has now been official. Which hopefully I'm going to just explain it with Chris whenever the challenges are even over. But speaking of challenges, I guess I'll have to go ahead and inform myself afterwards.
Meanwhile, while pretty much that chef was heading on back. Well, how did it go while I was flying most likely of the plane?
It was fine, Chris. And oh yeah, it's back to being my turn with the plane, so we don't crash last time.
Okay, you got it. Meanwhile, with everyone on the plane, Sally and, of course, Courtney are in first class. It looks like Sally and Courtney were having a conversation so far as likely that they were having a conversation. And as in for Courtney, well, she was pretty much explained that she pretty much could not have deal with Blaney being in the plane, pretty much. And of course that Sally, on the other hand, said was no, it was not that, which, it was pretty much that she was thinking about bringing Gothlistic Girl to join her in the movies afterwards from the last challenge. And Courtney kind of got what she meant by that, which makes a lot more sense. And of course, Courtney was thinking of the idea of voting off against Blaney. That would be a good one right there. And of course, Sally, on the other hand, had pretty much was almost to agreeing on that idea to vote off against Blaney, which Sally and Courtney were compromising the idea of knowing what they were going to think about. Meanwhile, with Gothlistic Girl and Josh, on the other hand, as they were explaining what they were doing. And so far, they were in, of course, in my movie theater set, which is called the Chris McClain Movie Theater Set. And as in for what they were talking about, that they were just getting near likely to the finals. And man, looks like that is continuing on right there. And then looks like as in for Josh, looks like Josh had a different ways against with Gothlistic Girl. Gothlistic Girl is being aware of Josh's movements of being so-called as a threat before Duncan made him as a threat, which Gothlistic Girl was questioning herself to know if Duncan was right on the same question as he was saying back at Josh, which makes it a very great question. And then so far as in for meanwhile that Blaney was in the hot tub again, of course, which is just not much as my greatest thing to ever say. And meanwhile, with Trent and Katie and Alejandro and Duncan and Sadie in the back of the plane, which of course Trent, on the other hand, was taking his guitar and was going along with them to just do something else for fun, which they were pretty much going somewhere without being informed. And as if for Alejandro, looks like he was talking to Duncan. As much as that I have been thinking about that is, I would say is Trent or maybe Blaney that I'm voting for, since that, well, it's going to be a hard one to pick to go for. And, why are you being a bit nice to me, Alejandro? It is like that you want to get rid of Trent from the game, you know? And looks like as in for Alejandro, he was making a very interesting point to say towards to Duncan, which he'll still instantly will probably argue with him anyway, which they'll still be back in the rivalry. But Alejandro had a different idea to encounter to vote off of Trent, which, oh boy, that's going to be wild to hear. But anyways, continue what they were saying. Damn, that's good. And, well, I guess that we should vote for Trent, and that's a deal. And then, of course, that as in for Alejandro, he was being honest to Duncan exactly that would come down to both players that would be known as Trent or Blaney to say goodbye. I see. Gotcha. Okay then, I'll vote for Trent. And then Alejandro and Duncan made the deal before that happened. And anyways, let's just find out and see what really happens again next time. But speaking about that right now, is that it's time we'll get straight to the challenges. Right about this second to start the challenges. And also, for one, by the way, who do you really think who's going to win here in this very challenge? Find out right now until we will begin with this challenge soon enough. So anyways, let's begin with the challenge and let's just get it on with today. So that way that we'll just get it over with.